from a scrap collector to the owner of a recycling business. You're listening to Inspire Moody, where small stories spark big hopes. Today I want to tell you a story, not about a miracle, but about willpower, belief, and a dream picked up from things the world threw away. There was a man named Hung. He wasn't famous, he wasn't rich, and he surely wasn't a motivational speaker. He was just a man who used to collect scrap. Back when Hung was only 17, he lost his father. His mother was sick. His family was so poor they could barely afford a meal of plain rice with fish sauce. He dropped out of school in 9th grade and left his village for the city, carrying nothing but a simple dream: to find a job he could live on without having to beg. But life in the city was harsh for someone like Hung. He worked as a laborer, a mover, a helper on construction sites, until one day a minor accident left his leg injured. He lost his job. He had no skills, no family nearby. That was the beginning of his life as scrap collector. Each day, he pushed a rickety cart through narrow alleys, picking up plastic bottles, cans, old cardboard, anything he could sell. At night, he slept under the eaves of a shared room, eating cheap meals and saving what little money he could to send home to his mother for medicine. Day after day, he kept going. But in the midst of garbage, among the stink and the side glances of strangers, Hung found something more valuable than bottles or cans. He found a dream. He began to wonder, why is waste always thrown away? Why do people see scrap as worthless when it could be something better? Every evening on a borrowed old phone, he searched online how to recycle plastic, how recycling worked in other countries, what machines were used. He didn't go to college, but he learned with his eyes, his hands, and through the raw experience of living it. After 5 years of collecting scrap, Hung had saved a little over 10 million VND, about $400. It wasn't much, but to him, it was everything. He bought a secondhand plastic grinding machine, rented a small warehouse in the outskirts, and began his new journey, turning trash into treasure. He called it his dream of rebirth. At first, it was just him and one friend. They washed, dried every piece of plastic by hand. His hands were stained with grease, his face darkened by sun. The machine broke down often. Some days they had no electricity. Some months, orders didn't come in, and they couldn't afford to pay rent. Many nights, Hung lay on a thin mat in the warehouse, staring up at the rusted ceiling, thinking, why am I doing this? Is it even worth anything? But just when he thought about giving up, his mother called from the village. Her voice was weak, but warm. Don't quit, son. I believe in you. No one in our village has ever come this far. Just those few words, and he stood up again. He kept calling small factories, knocking on doors, asking if they'd be willing to try his recycled plastic pellets. Some said no, some blocked his number, but some saw something in his eyes. He wasn't just selling plastic, he was offering his dream. 3 years later, from a scrap collector, Hung became the owner of Green Recycle Limited. 2 factories, 30 workers, most of them like him, were once waste pickers. Each month, they now produce tons of recycled plastic pellets, used to make park benches, pavement bricks, flower pots, all from old plastic waste. More than that, Hung began visiting schools. He created programs like Trash for Trees, where students could exchange plastic waste for a plant and learn how to sort garbage and care for the environment. He once said, I didn't get much schooling, but at the very least, I can teach kids what I learned from life. Everything can be reborn if you look at it with belief. When someone asked him, do you think you've succeeded? Hung smiled softly. I don't know if I've succeeded, but I know. I no longer walk with my head down, collecting scraps. I'm now picking up lives, including my own, and if I can, I want to help others rise, just like I did. Closing. Dear listener, there's no shortage of glamorous stories in this world, but sometimes, in the middle of a garbage pile, in the darkest corners of a slum, a small dream is quietly sprouting, and maybe all it needs is a bit of sunlight, a kind word, or just someone choosing not to throw away that old bottle. And that could be enough to keep a dream alive. Never think you're too small to make a difference, because even a man who once picked up trash can become the founder of a company that changes the environment and lives. You've been listening to another inspiring story on Inspire Moody. See you in our next episode, where hope always finds a way.